Life has a way of blindsiding you, hitting you when you least expect it, usually when you're stuck in the everyday humdrum. Folding laundry, rinsing dishes, or just spacing out in the shower, that's when the rug gets yanked. For me, the world tilted on its axis with a knock at the bathroom door. I was 55, thought I had it all mapped out. Solid marriage, dependable husband, the comfortable rhythm of a well ordered life. That knock was the sound of it all cracking. Behind it was Ethan, Eleanor's son. Eleanor, my best friend. Ethan had been around forever, practically family, at every holiday, every birthday. Watched him morph from a gangly teen to a confident man. Never, not once, did I imagine that knock or what it would unleash. What happened next shouldn't have, but it did. And what came after? That's where things went off the rails. Truly dangerous. I'm Sarah. For most of my adult life, I played the part of dutiful wife, caring mother, loyal friend. David, my husband, and I, 30 years married, living in a quiet corner of Westchester, New York. The kind of place where everyone knows your business, and you know theirs. Our daughter Chloe moved to LA years ago, leaving David and me in the echoing quiet of a house that used to pulse with family noise. For years, I thought it was perfect. David, an architect, designing dream homes while we lived in the one we built together. I filled my days volunteering at the community center, book club, coffee dates with friends. Eleanor, my best friend since high school, was always in the mix. We'd weathered everything together, marriages, kids, the whole messy, glorious ride. Ethan, Eleanor's son, was woven into that history. I'd known him since he was a baby, watched him grow up alongside Chloe, backyard games, holiday dinners, family vacations. Always polite, always sweet, the kind of kid you never worried about. Until you did. Ethan went through a rough patch after his father died. Just 22, starting his career as a software guy when the sudden loss hit him like a freight train. Eleanor was shattered, and I tried to be there for both of them. Checked in on Ethan, offered a shoulder, a home-cooked meal when Eleanor couldn't manage. But somewhere along the line, something shifted between Ethan and me. I can't pinpoint the exact moment. Maybe it was the day he helped with the garden. David was away on business, and the weeds were taking over. Ethan always offered a hand, and when Eleanor suggested he help, I didn't think twice. He showed up that Saturday morning, old t-shirt, jeans, looking every inch the man I'd watched grow up. We spent the morning weeding, chatting about his work, his plans. Ethan had become successful, Eleanor always bragging about how proud she was. I was proud too, in a way he felt like a second son. But that day, something felt different. A tension in the air that hadn't been there before. Maybe it was the way his eyes lingered a little too long, the way he stood a little too close. I brushed it off, told myself I was imagining things. Ethan was always respectful, nothing had changed. As the sun climbed, we took a break. Lemonade on the back porch, the air thick with cut grass. Easy conversation, the kind you have with someone you've known forever. Then, out of nowhere, Ethan asked, "Are you happy, Sarah?" I blinked, surprised. "What do you mean?" He shrugged, eyes on his glass. "I don't know. Are you happy with your life? With David? You seem a little lonely sometimes." His words hit like a punch. Lonely? Had I become lonely? I hadn't really thought about it. But now, with Ethan across from me, maybe he was right. David and I had drifted, not unhappy exactly, but not close. Side by side, going through the motions of a life we'd built, but rarely connecting. "I'm fine," I said, forcing a smile. "Things change over time, you know?" Ethan looked up, eyes filled with something I couldn't name. "You deserve to be happy, Sarah." For a moment, I was speechless. His words hung there, heavy. I should have changed the subject, laughed it off. Instead, I felt a strange warmth spread through me. It had been so long since someone had said something like that. I didn't dwell on it then, but looking back, that was the first crack in the wall I'd built around my life. Weeks passed. I tried to bury that conversation, told myself it was nothing, reading too much into it, but something had shifted inside me. The gaps in my marriage widened. Quiet dinners, no real talk. We were roommates more than husband and wife. I couldn't remember the last time we'd done something just for us, something that made me feel close to him. Then came the day everything blew up. Rainy Wednesday afternoon, house cleaned, David out of town for a week-long work trip, the place to myself, long hot shower, to wash away the unease that had been creeping in since that day with Ethan, standing under the hot water, lost in thought, when I heard a knock at the bathroom door. Froze. Heart hammering. Who could it be? David wasn't due back for days, and I hadn't heard anyone come in. Hello? I called, voice shaky. Silence, just silence. Quickly turned off the water, wrapped a towel around myself, stepped out of the shower. Heart pounding, opened the bathroom door, half expecting no one. But there he was, Ethan. Standing in the hallway, face unreadable, clothes soaked from the rain, stared at each other, no words, tension thick, suffocating. I knew something was about to happen, something I wasn't ready for. "What are you doing here?" whisper, barely audible. "I needed to see you," Ethan said, eyes locked on mine. I should have told him to leave, walked away, closed the door, ended whatever was happening, but I stood there, frozen. Ethan took a step closer. "You deserve to be happy, Sarah," he whispered, echoing his words from the garden. Before I could think, before I could stop it, he reached out, touched my arm, fingers warm against my skin. Simple touch, but a jolt of electricity shot through me. Something snapped. I kissed him. Not planned, not something I'd thought about, it just happened. And once it did, there was no turning back. The days after that kiss were a blur. Couldn't think straight. Guilt and confusion swirling. Betrayed David, betrayed Eleanor, betrayed everything I'd ever known. But I couldn't stop thinking about Ethan. How alive I'd felt. How much I'd wanted him. We didn't talk about it. Not at first. Ethan went back to his life. And I tried to go back to mine, pretending nothing had changed. But everything had. Every time I saw him at Eleanor's or when he stopped by to help with something, the tension was there. Unspoken desire simmering beneath the surface. Then one evening, David out for a business dinner, Ethan showed up again. "I can't stop thinking about you," he said, voice low, urgent. "I know this is wrong, but I can't help it." Neither could I. Didn't even make it past the hallway before we were kissing again, hands fumbling in the dark, stumbling toward the living room. Reckless, dangerous, guilt-ridden, but I couldn't stop. Crossed a line, no going back. The affair started that night. Secret meetings, stolen moments, when David was away, when Eleanor wasn't around, when no one would suspect. Exhilarating like nothing I'd ever experienced. But with each day, the guilt grew. Knew it was wrong, knew it would destroy everything if anyone found out. But I couldn't end it. Ethan was like a drug, made me feel alive, wanted, in a way I hadn't felt in years. Not ready to give that up, no matter the cost. Months passed. The weight of the affair began to crush me. Constantly on edge, terrified of being found out. David, Eleanor, anyone discovering the truth. Paranoid, second-guessing every word, every glance. Avoided Eleanor more and more, couldn't face her without the crushing guilt. But it wasn't just Eleanor. David noticed the change. Asked why I seemed distant, distracted, why I didn't want to spend time with him. Told him I was stressed, had a lot on my mind, but I saw the doubt in his eyes. I wanted to stop. End the affair, go back to before. But every time I tried to pull away, Ethan would reel me back in, show up, send late-night messages, reminding me of what we had, how much he wanted me, and I wanted him too. But the guilt was unbearable. Couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't think of anything but the lies. Knew it was only a matter of time before it all imploded. And then it did. The day it all unraveled started like any other. Home, making dinner for David when Eleanor called. Voice tight, strained, knew instantly something was wrong. "We need to talk," she said. No room for argument. Agreed to meet at a cafe, heart pounding as I drove, sinking feeling in my gut. My secret was about to come out. Eleanor already at a table when I arrived, hands clasped around a coffee cup. Looked up, eyes filled with anger, betrayal. "I know," she said, voice trembling. "I know about you and Ethan." World tilted. Couldn't breathe, couldn't speak. Worst fear realized. Eleanor knew. Everything. I don't know what to say," I stammered, mind racing for an excuse. "Don't bother," Eleanor said, voice cold. "Don't need excuses. I trusted you, Sarah. Trusted you with my son. And this is what you do. How could you?" No answer. Nothing to say to make it right. Betrayal in her eyes, too deep, too raw. Eleanor stood, chair scraping against the floor. "I don't want to see you again," she said, voice breaking. "We're done." Just like that, she was gone, leaving me there, world crumbling. Eleanor's words echoed for days. Couldn't shake the image of her face, the anger, the betrayal. Stomach churned with guilt. Nothing I could do. Crossed a line, no going back. David hadn't noticed anything at first. Work deadlines, upcoming projects, my distance went unnoticed. But days turned into weeks. Even he couldn't ignore it. Jumpy, avoiding his touch, lost in thought. One night after dinner, he confronted me. Sarah, what's going on? Gentle voice, but filled with concern. You've been distant. Is something bothering you? Froze, heart racing. Urge to tell him the truth surged up, swallowed it down, forced a weak smile. I'm just tired, David. It's nothing. He wasn't convinced. Reached across the table, hand covering mine. 30 years together. I know when something's wrong. Please, talk to me. Tears pricked my eyes. Considered telling him everything, but I couldn't. Couldn't destroy the life we'd built, the marriage that had once been so strong. Pulled my hand away, stood up. I'm fine, whisper. Just need some space. David watched me leave, expression confused, hurt. Didn't push further, not yet. Ethan's behavior became erratic. Texts at all hours, angry, apologetic, always demanding attention. Guilt eating him too, but instead of backing off, he became more obsessed. Tried to distance myself, end it. But every time, Ethan pulled me back in. Showed up unexpectedly, called repeatedly, suffocating. One afternoon, grocery store, message from him. We need to talk. I'm coming over. Heart sank. Didn't want to see him, didn't want to be dragged back into the mess. Before I could respond, another message. If you don't talk to me, I'll tell David everything. Froze in the aisle. Mind racing. Ethan had never threatened like that. Panic surged. Texted back, agreed to meet him later. Home, hands shaking, making dinner for David. Couldn't focus, thoughts consumed by the confrontation with Ethan. Had to end it. But how, without everything collapsing? That night, after David went to bed, snuck out to meet Ethan. Park a few miles away, dark playground. Heart pounded pulling into the parking lot. Spotted his car, standing by the swings, hands in pockets, looking out over the dark. Hesitated, fingers gripped the wheel. Didn't want to do this, didn't want to see him, but no choice. Approached. Ethan turned. Expression hard to read. Different than I remembered, more intense, more desperate. We need to end this, I said. No pleasantries. Can't do this anymore, Ethan. Has to stop. Stared for a long moment, jaw clenched. You think you can just walk away after everything? Swallowed hard, tried to steady my voice. We made a mistake. It's over now. Can't keep doing this. Moment of silence. Then, step closer, eyes dark. You don't get to decide when it's over, Sarah. We're in this together. You can't just walk away from me. Fear gripped me. Never seen this side of him. Charming, sweet boy gone, replaced by someone I didn't recognize. I don't want to hurt David, I whispered, voice shaking. Don't want to hurt anyone. Eyes flashed anger. What about me? What am I supposed to do? You can't just throw me away like this. Stepped back, heart racing. I'm not throwing you away. But this has to end, Ethan. I'm sorry. Moment. Thought he might lash out, anger bubbling, but he turned away, hand through his hair. You're going to regret this, muttered, low, dangerous. Left to the park, hands trembling, conversation shaken me, terrified of what Ethan might do. No time to dwell. Home, David was waiting. Living room, face pale, eyes confused, hurt. Where were you? Heart sank. Didn't expect him awake. Unprepared for this. Opened my mouth, words caught. Sarah, please, David said, voice breaking. What's going on? I know something's wrong. Just tell me the truth. Weight of lies crushed me. Couldn't do it anymore. Couldn't keep pretending. I'm sorry, I whispered, tears streaming. I've been lying to you. Silence after my confession unbearable. David stared, face contorted, disbelief, pain. Questions forming, accusations too stunned to voice. You've been lying to me? Barely audible. About what? Couldn't look at him. Hands trembled, twisting my shirt, trying to find courage to continue. It's about Ethan, I said, voice shaking. I've been seeing him. We've been involved. Words hung in the air, death sentence, each cutting deeper into David's heart. Shock in his eyes, world collapsing. Stood up, pacing, trying to make sense of it. You've been with Ethan? Repeated, disbelief. Eleanor's son? Nodded, unable to speak, guilt crushing me. How could you? David asked, voice rising, anger. How could you do this to me, to us? Tears streamed, tried to explain. No words could make it right. Betrayed him in the worst way. I'm sorry, whisper, breaking. Never meant for it to happen. Mistake. Mistake, David shouted, face flushed. You think this is just a mistake? You've destroyed everything, Sarah. Flinch at harshness, raw emotion, expected anger, but hearing it from him, seeing pain in his eyes, more than I could bear. I didn't want to hurt you, voice trembling. Didn't mean for any of this to happen. David shook his head, disgust. I trusted you. 30 years married, and this is how you repay me. I know, whisper, tears falling freely. I know I've hurt you, but I never stopped loving you. I'm so sorry. Words fell on deaf ears. David's anger, hurt, overwhelming, nothing I could say to make it better. Without another word, David grabbed his coat, stormed out, leaving me standing alone in the wreckage of our marriage. Days after David left, a blur. Couldn't eat, couldn't sleep, couldn't think of anything but the pain I'd caused. Phone buzzed with Ethan's messages. Ignored them. Couldn't face him, couldn't face the consequences. Eleanor didn't call. Betrayed her too. No coming back from that. Friendship over. Hollow ache in my chest. Lost everything. Husband, best friend, life I'd built. For what? Fleeting affair, moment of weakness, spiraled out of control. Days turned into weeks. Realized I had no one to blame but myself. Choices led me here. Had to live with it. Ethan, not willing to let go, showed up one afternoon, banging on the door. No choice but to let him in. What do you want? Voice tired, defeated. I want to talk. Insistent tone. You've been ignoring me. Don't understand why. Because it's over, Ethan. Voice shaking. We made a mistake. Can't go on. Stared for a long moment. Unreadable. You don't get to decide that, Sarah. We're in this together. No. Shaking head. We're not. It's over. Anger in his eyes unmistakable. Flicker of fear. You think you can just walk away from me? Voice low, dangerous. After everything? I don't want to hurt anyone anymore. Whisper. Please, Ethan, just leave. Didn't move. Stepped closer, eyes narrowing, staring down at me. You'll regret this. Voice filled with venom. Before I could respond, turned, stormed out, slamming the door. Weeks after that confrontation, something strange happened. Ethan disappeared. Eleanor called, frantic, asking if I'd heard from him. I hadn't. No one had. Not answering his phone, no one seen him since the day he left my house. First, thought he was trying to scare me, manipulate me into reaching out. But days passed, still no sign. Began to worry. Eleanor went to police, missing persons report. Town buzzing with rumors. Where could he have gone? What happened? But I knew the truth. Ethan left because of me, because I ended it, because I walked away. Guilt weighed on me every day. Ruined everything. Now Ethan missing. All my fault. Month after Ethan disappeared, I found the note, mailbox, folded envelope, no return address. Hands shook opening it, heart pounding. Short note, few lines, but enough to send a chill. You think you can get rid of me that easily? I'm not gone. I'm just waiting. Stood there, frozen, note trembling in my hands. Ethan still out there, somewhere, watching, waiting, and I knew. This wasn't over, not by a long shot.